children are exposed to so many things these days. We need to not minimize their exposure to what's happening and just think, it's life, whatever. No. When things happen, we need to sit down, we need to have discussions with them, make them understand. It's very important.
Welcome to Family Gamer TV. I'm with Max Biller, Creative Director for Splinter Cell Blacklist, and we've just seen the exclusive run through. So maybe if someone hasn't played this Splinter Cell game before, how would you introduce it? How would you introduce Splinter Cell to, say, your mum?
To my mom?
Yeah.
I think it follows the adventures of Sam Fisher, an elite Spec Ops agent that is called up to stop the Blacklist. It's a group of rogue nations that band together and give an ultimatum to the United States. Take your troops out of our countries or we bring the war to you.
Yeah.
So Sam Fisher accepts, and now Sam is the leader of Fourth Echelon.
Yeah. I mean, that's the story, but you'd say that to anyone, wouldn't you? I mean, if you're trying to explain what the game was in terms of play mechanics to someone who hadn't played it.
Well, I mean, you're playing Sam Fisher, right? Which is the best Spec Ops in the world, right? And I mean, you get to do everything that Sam Fisher is able to do, right?
Yeah.
So you can sneak around, you can take out bad guys, and hopefully, stop the Blacklist from happening.
Yeah. So as far as I can tell, it's a sort of a James Bond style character. So you're sent in on a special mission.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier how he has the fifth freedom, which is equivalent to being 007.
Exactly.
So he's sort of licensed to kill in his own way.
Exactly.
Is it an 18?
Yes, it's 17 plus in the United States, and it's going to be PEGI 18 in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we're the subject matter that we have is very mature, right? And we're treating it in a very mature way also.
They're quite difficult situations and quite difficult topics, aren't they? Both the political space you're working in and obviously the individual actions of killing someone.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that in a mature way?
Well, I think for us we're telling a mature story, but I think there's some very interesting stories and moral questions that surround all that, right? Sam has the fifth freedom, like we said, right? Which is basically, like you said, the license to kill. He's able to do whatever it takes for the greater good. Yeah. And we need, as a society, we need people that have that freedom, right? At the same time, it's very gray, right? Nothing's black or white. It's always very gray. So for us, what I think is interesting is that we're putting the player into situations that I'm hoping is going to make them reflect, and I'm hoping have maybe change their perspective or their vision on what's happening, because war is not all fun and games, right? Yeah. There's humans on both sides, and if you're Sam Fisher and you feel, imagine the pressure of saving a million lives. What are you going to do? How far are you willing to go? So I think there's some very good stories to tell there, because they touch morality, they touch humanity. So I think we're having fun with it.
But that's the issue, isn't it? Do you think it is a topic in a space that is appropriate for entertainment and having fun with?
Well, I think I am convinced that it is. But the game needs to be rated to the appropriate audience,
so you need to be old enough to engage with the topic. Yeah,
of course, right? I think you need a level of maturity and to understand what we're doing and to be able to appreciate it and hopefully grow as a human because of what you're experiencing in the game. But like, I have a 5-year-old son at home, and I'm not making a game for him right now. Maybe one day, but not right now.
Yeah, but something we often talk about on the show in terms of giving advice to parents is to say, well, if your older children are playing games like this, it's a great thing to actually learn how to play it yourself and play it with them. Because then sitting down to play together, as those difficult topics come up, then you can have a conversation about them.
But I think it's I'm a parent, right? And like, things happen in our lives that we need to have sit downs and talk to our children. It's our job as parents. We are there to educate them and to make them understand. Sometimes it's the news. Children are exposed to so many things these days. We need to not minimize their exposure to what's happening and just think, oh, it's life, whatever. No. When things happen, we need to sit down, we need to have discussions with them, make them understand. It's very important. And it's honestly, as a parent, it's something that I feel a responsibility to do, but also I enjoy it because I can, I'm shaping a future human that I'm hoping is going to have a great sense of good, that's going to have, good, he's going to be able to make great moral choices. So it's fun. It's a nice challenge.
A question that, from what you were saying earlier, is there space in the game for Sam Fisher, the protagonist here, to end up sort of being the bad guy? Is he always right and good? Or is he sometimes sort of doubt himself and think, what am I doing? I've made a mistake.
Well, this is part of the subject that we're talking about, right? Because one country's terrorist is another country's hero, right? So these are definitely the things that we're talking about, and like I don't want to go too much into the details of the story yet because my marketing PR people will kill me. But I mean, it's
literally.
But no. They're gonna punish me. But so it is. It's. I think it's interesting, especially because these days we are bombarded in the news by so many things. I think it's that are similar to that. It's interesting to be able to talk about them and games because we're interactive. You're not, it's not a passive medium. The player is actually acting on it. So I think we're a more stronger. My opinion is that games are stronger, more immersive. So I think it's even more our responsibility to make sure that we tell games in a responsible way.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, as a studio, do the people working on the game, do you do anything to help them engage with those topics?
Well, yeah, I mean, we have, it's interesting, we do every 2 weeks, we take the whole team and we go in the cafeteria and we do basically a presentation to the whole, project update, what's happening, new stuff. And we always have a moment where we call it anonymous questions, so people can ask us questions and we answer them about and sometimes sometimes it's about people want more fruits, but sometimes it's about the game and the subject, and so it's interesting because people are engaged and people they want to like we're 200 people on the team, right? So it's a big team, but like people care, they want to understand, they like it. We did an internal demo at one point, and it was basically the beginning of the game. That we were like just not the first map, and we had a moment between Sam and Grim, and people came to me and they were like, Sam's not nice to Grim, like is he gonna be like that all the time? And I'm like, no, listen, this is the beginning of the game. It's a moment, if you played Splinter Cell Conviction, at the end of Conviction they're not friends, they're not hugging, right? So it's interesting because we've got two characters that are super interesting that have a conflict, and now we're gonna see through the whole game, we're gonna see their relationship evolve, right?
There's one thing that someone who plays Splinter Cell Blacklist when it's out could take away from the game. What one thing would you want them to take with them after they've finished it?
Well, me, the one thing, it's the same. I want them to have fun. I mean, it's entertainment, right? So regardless of everything else, I hope they enjoy the game and they have a blast. Because that's why I make games. I want to entertain people. I want to put smiles on their faces. I want them to have great stories to tell about, I did this, it was great, and then I had that idea, I tried it, didn't work, but so that's the priority. If we're not fun, forget about, deep engaging storyline, forget about all the rest. So that's definitely the priority.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Well, thanks for your time. Thanks for being so sort of upfront with us and talking about some of these difficult subjects. So we appreciate that.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
That's all we've got time for this week on Family Gaming TV. We'll be back with more soon.